Hey everyone, welcome. Happy Valentine's Day. Is that a phrase that strikes terror, dread, and bitterness and all kinds of emotions in you? If it is, stick around. We are going to really get into it today. We're going to talk about how to make Valentine's Day less shitty. I have 3 tips for you that are really going to help you um, heal your relationship with Valentine's Day. I'm not going to be able to help you meet the love of your life in like the 30 minutes that we're running today. I'm good, but I'm not a freaking genie. So it's not going to be like that. But what I am going to do is help give you some tips to help you feel better today. Um, for those of you that have met me before, I'm Cheryl Muir. I'm a relationship expert and I work with a lot of different people. But one of the groups I work with are single women who are looking for love and who found themselves in cycles of heartbreak repeatedly. And what can happen is on Valentine's Day, it all comes to the surface. It's kind of like a volcano. It lays dormant and then it erupts. It erupts on Valentine's Day, it erupts on your birthday, it erupts at Christmas. And in those moments where you kind of look to the side and wish someone was there with you and they're not there. That could be the elusive someone. It could be the person that you're thinking of, the person that's in your mind and heart right now. It could be an ex. It could be someone that's unavailable to you. But it's really, really painful. It's painful, and I know that because I used to be there. So I am not preaching at you from the ivory tower. I have been in the trenches with you. And let me tell you, Valentine's Day used to be a time that really sucked eggs for me. Really, I'd like to say something else, but I think YouTube will censor me. It used to really suck for me. So let's get into those 3 steps. Now, before we do, I just want to make sure you're in the right place because our time is really precious and I don't want to waste your time if this is not going to be helpful for you. So this is for those of you that find Valentine's Day really, really painful, really tender. It brings up a lot for you. Maybe when you get home after work, you're going to be, upset and feeling really, really tender, vulnerable emotions today. If you're not bothered by Valentine's Day, this is probably not for you. It's probably not going to help you, right? So it's for those of us that really feel a lot of emotions come to the surface on this day. Um, it's not for people that are looking for surface level tips. I'm not going to tell you to have a bubble bath and get your nails done and buy yourself flowers, though if you want to, that's nice. It's not going to hurt, right? But it's not really going to get down to the nitty gritty of what's going on and why this is happening for you. Here's why it's happening for you. Here's why Valentine's Day feels like shit. Because you're making it mean something that it doesn't mean, right? There's a lot more to it than that. And I'll give you as much as I can in 30 minutes today. But that is step number 1. And step number 1 is, what are you making it mean? What are you making today mean? So here's what that might look like. You don't receive flowers. You're waiting to receive flowers all day from some mystery admirer or from some specific person, and you don't receive them, and you make that mean, I'm unlovable and I'll always be alone. That is not true. Even though it feels true and it's really, really painful, those 2 things are not connected. Who sends you flowers or doesn't send you flowers today doesn't mean anything. So you can just unlink that in your mind. You can break those 2 things apart. You can physically pull them apart. Those 2 things are not related. Those 2 things are not related. Now, why is that coming up today? Because the belief is already there. You're just being reminded of it today. So what are you making it mean? Journal on that, right? Grab your journal, grab a pen or a Word document or your notes app on your phone. What beliefs are coming up for you today? No one loves me. I'm not desirable. What else might come up today? Yeah, I'm not being chosen. I won't find anyone. Like, write all of that shit down. Write all of that down. It's really, really important. You get really clear on what the beliefs are. For those of you that are new here, by the way, this is how I work. I'm not going to ever get you to download this perfect script, send him these perfect texts, and he'll fall in love with you. My question to that would be, why do you feel like you have to trick someone to fall in love with you? Why do you feel like you need to be perfect to be loved? That's a psychological model called the conditions of worth, right? And one of them is, I must be perfect. Another condition of worth is, I must be helping people. I must be pleasing people, right? All of those things. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. And while it's helpful to know communication techniques and skills, and I definitely teach the practical side of things as well, don't download those guides. They're not going to help you, respectfully. They're not going to help you. You don't need to trick anyone to fall in love with you. You don't need to be perfect, right? So that's not what this is about. It's about what's going on within you, who you're being, who you believe you are in relationships. There's a place where that comes from, of course. I have a ton of content on my channel here on where that comes from and how to release that, and a ton of programs as well. But what are you making it mean, right? And what if that wasn't true? What if it's been true up until now because of something you experienced in the past, but what if you can create a new belief? And what would you like that belief to be? So step one, what are you making it mean? And what do you want it to mean? Step two, what are you feeling and how can you be with those emotions? Why is that important? Because feelings and beliefs are the glue that's holding this whole thing together. All of your, what I call dating drama, patterns and cycles in love, the heartbreak, whether it's what's going on externally, choosing someone that's not choosing you, choosing someone that you had a great connection with, but they live in fucking Australia, or someone you fell in love with and they have a girlfriend already. That unavailable love is a really common pattern with my clients. Another one is not being able to stop thinking about them. I call that the dating drama archetype, Miss Obsessed. What else is a common pattern? Miss Fantasy relationship. You know, you've been on one date, or maybe you haven't even been on a date and you're already imagining them. You're thinking about them all the time. You're imagining what it's like to go on holiday with them, to create these memories with them. And the relationship is taking place in between your two beautiful earlobes in your head. It's not taking place in reality, right? So that's dating drama. That they're the patterns and cycles that you're in that are causing you all of this internal turmoil, right? And your feelings and beliefs are what holding all of that together. So if we can get to the beliefs, which we covered in step one, and if we can also handle the feelings, which we're covering now in step two, you're going to really loosen that. It's kind of like when you take wallpaper off a wall, if you've ever done some decorating, and you realize that you have to take that off. You know, there's glue holding it to the back of the wall. Sometimes you need that steamer thing to like loosen it up. That's exactly what we're doing. We're loosening all of this dating drama, all of these patterns with your feelings and beliefs. So what are you feeling today, and how can you be with those emotions? This can come up in two different ways. It can either come up as feeling really tender, and maybe, you know, running yourself a bath tonight and crying it out. You know, you're tempted to go and watch like a rom-com and eat chocolate and eat ice cream and all of those things. And look, there's nothing wrong with any of those things, but that's not really being with your emotions. Being with it is allowing yourself to feel and not needing to numb out with anything, right? Allowing yourself to feel those tender emotions. What do you need to say to yourself? What do you need to give to yourself to soothe that emotion, right? What is it you're feeling? Is it sadness? Is it loneliness? Is it abandonment? What is it that you're feeling? Is it a feeling of not being good enough? What is that feeling? And what do you need to give to yourself? Now, here's the caveat and the contradiction there. You might be inspired to then run yourself a bath or whatever it might be. You know, you might be inspired to do something like that, but it's from the place of, I'm going to be with my emotions. I'm going to nurture myself so fully, not from a place of avoiding it, but from a place of being with it. Does that make sense? Another way this can come up is the people that pretend that it's no big deal. But what it really comes out as is, I hate Valentine's Day. Oh, it's a load of crap. Oh, it's just this commercial thing. I don't care about it. But, you know, it's interesting that you say you don't care about it when actually it seems like you care a lot about it. You have quite a lot of passion and quite a lot of emotion behind how much you hate it. So when we either really, really love something or really, really hate something, there's a lot of emotion behind it, right? The goal is to be fairly neutral. The goal is to be fairly neutral, because Valentine's Day doesn't mean anything. It doesn't, nothing means anything. It is whatever meaning we assign to it. Anyway, it doesn't have to mean anything. It can be neutral if you want. It can be whatever you want it to be. But those people that are have a lot of resistance behind it and a lot of anger, there's probably something there. There's probably, that anger is probably masking a lot of sadness, right? There's a model by the Gottman Institute called the anger iceberg. And what that talks about is the top level emotion of anger. Once you release that anger by going to a kickboxing class or, you know, good old punching a pillow, whatever it is to release that emotion, when you do that, it releases. the anger, and underneath it is those more tender, vulnerable emotions. And it can feel sometimes safer to stay mad and to feel vulnerable and sad, right? So how can you be with what you're feeling? That loosens this pattern, right? And step number 3, how can you create a new ritual on Valentine's Day? So this is something I did a couple of years ago, God, many years ago now, actually. This is probably about a decade ago. I'm very old. I noticed many years ago, back when I was living in Vancouver in Canada, I noticed that on Valentine's Day, I would wait around, and I had this association of like waiting to receive, waiting to be chosen. And it wasn't like in the way of like, oh, I feel inspired to lean back and receive and see what the day brings. It was more like I was in the energy of waiting, which is not a vibe. I was basically waiting to have my needs met. And I tried the whole thing of buying myself flowers. It didn't really do anything for me. Now, what I did decide to do was to create a new ritual. And here's what I did. I thought, it would be really fun if I bought a load of Valentine's candy and chocolate and just put it in a big bowl in the kitchen in the office that I worked at, which is the headquarters of a Canadian utility company. And it was a big fancy head office. And I snuck in really early with the bowls that I'd bought from, I don't know, London Drugs, I think it was, a Canadian shop. And I put all the Valentine's candy in there and kind of snuck off. And I didn't tell anyone it was me. And I had this kind of like mischievous, playful little thing where everyone was saying, this chocolate's really good. Who put it there? Who do we have to thank? And I'm like laughing to myself. And it was just a silly little thing where I could just have a lot of fun with it and just feel that kind of playfulness and silliness. And eventually people found out it was me, and that was fine. But I just really got a lot of joy of seeing people, enjoy this chocolate, enjoy these sweets and these candies, and really get a lot of enjoyment from their pleasure and their enjoyment and their gratitude. That was a really beautiful thing. Now, here's the thing with that. It's got to come from a really genuine place. It's got to come from a place of really wanting to give, really wanting to flip the script on Valentine's Day, really wanting to do something different. That tradition of the Valentine's candy was something I kept up for a couple of years. Certainly the whole time I was in that office, it's something I really enjoyed. And people that were new never knew who the Valentine's elf or fairy was, and I really enjoyed being as anonymous as I could be and really just picking out those sweets. So instead of waiting around on that day, I had a completely different focus. So the question to you then is, what ritual can you create on Valentine's Day? How can you create something new? It might be getting together with your friends. It might be something completely different. It might be actually, this Valentine's Day, I'm going to do the inner work. I'm actually going to break the cycle on this by doing the work I need to do to figure out why this is so difficult for me, right? Or maybe that's something for another day. Maybe it's sitting with your emotions today, and maybe tomorrow it's like, you know what? I really need to sort this out. I really need to sort this out. In which case, make sure you stick around. I'm going to be having a lot of videos for you, free trainings, you name it. So I really want to make sure you don't miss that. You are going to want to get your hands on some of the information I'm going to be giving to you over the next couple of weeks. So make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. So I really hope this helped you today. There's only so much I can give you in one video, but step 1, what are you making it mean, right? What are the beliefs that you have behind this day? How can you create new beliefs around that? What is your process for creating new beliefs? And if you don't know how to do that, I have programs on that. But what are you making it mean? Step 2, what are you feeling and how can you be with those emotions? And the third thing, can you create a new ritual on Valentine's Day, right? Can you create something that's so new, so fresh, so different, that it completely flips the script on Valentine's Day, right? It doesn't have to mean anything. And the final thing I just want to say is, if you are feeling those really tender emotions today and you're just feeling like shit, like, it's okay. It's okay to feel what you're feeling. It's okay to be with your emotions. It's okay. These things are coming up so you can nurture them, so you can be with them, so that you can really be the person you need to be for yourself, be the mother you need to be to yourself, be the parent you need to be. Spoiler, all of these patterns come from when we were small. We learned them from our parents. So that's another story for another time, right? But if you are feeling those tender emotions, I see you. And I understand, I've been there. It's really hard. It's really, really hard, but you're not doomed to stay here. It won't feel like this forever. And I would be lying to you if I said it's going to change by doing nothing. It's not, right? You're smarter than that. You know that. This is about, it's not about finding tricks. It's not about downloading those, like I said, those guides of text him the perfect thing, text her the perfect thing. It's not about that. It's about you becoming the woman who's worthy of love. You're worthy now, but what's happening right now is you have all of this stuff in the way. I see it kind of like it almost feels like a black kind of goo gel slime, this kind of like dark matter that's around you. And they're the feelings and beliefs and the patterns and all that other bullshit, right? So it's not that you have to change who you are, you just have to get all of this crap off you so that you can be who you were all along. It's the process of unbecoming. So if you're new here, if this is the first time you're hearing something like this, I would love for you to dig in to my content here. There's a lot. If you get your journal, watch the videos here, do any journaling prompts that you see, it is going to absolutely transform the way you see in life and love and relationships. And it's going to change the complete trajectory of your life. I hope this served you. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. You can also find me on Instagram. My Instagram is Cheryl J. Muir, and I put out new content there on a regular basis to help you overcome these patterns in love and have healthy, happy relationships in every area of your life, including romance and your friends and your workmates. And it's all connected. And the relationship you have with yourself. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you later on this week.